representative of United Kingdom.
Thank you, President. And I'd like to start by welcoming the presence of the representative of Iran in this meeting. President, the United Kingdom voted against the draft resolution. First, as this Council knows, Iran is defying the global non-proliferation regime. Iran's nuclear escalation, as detailed in over 60 IAEA reports over the past 6 years, is a threat to international peace and security. Iran's actions mean that the IAEA is not able to confirm that Iran's nuclear program is exclusively peaceful. Among the steps Iran has taken is the accumulation of a high enriched uranium stockpile which lacks any credible civilian justification and is unprecedented for a state without a nuclear weapons program. Second, we have engaged tirelessly in diplomatic efforts to resolve concerns and bring Iran back into compliance with its commitments under the JCPOA. We regret that Iran has continued to block progress in recent months. This includes failing to resume full cooperation with the IAEA and giving no clarity on when inspections to all nuclear sites can resume. The IAEA has also not had access to the high-enriched uranium stockpile for over 3 months, nor has Iran provided the reports required by the IAEA on the status of the stockpile. It's also clear from the Supreme Leader's public remarks this week that Iran is not willing to consider direct negotiations with the United States. As a result, this Council does not have the necessary assurance that there is a clear path to a swift diplomatic solution. Third, in its vote last week, this Council fulfilled the necessary steps of the snapback process set out in Resolution 2231. Therefore, UN sanctions targeting Iranian proliferation will be reimposed this weekend. All member states are obliged to comply fully with these sanctions, as required by the UN Charter. President, I reiterate, however, that the United Kingdom remains committed to pursuing a diplomatic solution that ensures Iran never acquires a nuclear weapon, while maintaining Iran's right to a civil nuclear program in line with the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Our commitment to diplomacy remains steadfast and is not exhausted. We stand ready to continue discussions with Iran on a diplomatic solution to address international concerns about its nuclear program. In turn, this could allow for the lifting of sanctions in the future. I thank you.
I thank the representative of the United Kingdom for the statement. Now I give the floor to representative of Denmark.
Thank you, Mr. President. And let me also start by welcoming the representative of the Islamic Republic of Iran to this meeting. Mr. President, last week, the Security Council decided to reimpose sanctions against Iran. Despite Denmark's hope for a breakthrough in the negotiations before the deadline, we regret that the intensive diplomatic efforts this past week, including at the highest level, have not borne fruit. We have still not seen the necessary steps from Iran that would enable us to support an extension of the provisions of Resolution 2231, especially not unconditionally, as today's draft resolution had proposed. It is also problematic that the draft resolution did not call for Iran's return to full cooperation with the IAEA. Adopting today's draft resolution would serve only to prolong a situation that is fundamentally untenable. Therefore, Denmark's position remains the same today as last week. As we have previously expressed, we are deeply concerned about Iran's nuclear program and its accumulation of highly enriched uranium stockpiles, which lack any credible civilian justification. Iran has been in non-compliance with the JCPOA since 2019, and the expiration date of the agreement has been known to all of us for the past decade. The activation of the snapback mechanism was not a hasty decision, nor was it taken lightly, but there was no alternative in this situation. For these reasons, Denmark voted against this draft resolution. Mr. President, our vote should not be mistaken for opposition to diplomacy. Quite the contrary. It is because we value genuine negotiations that we could not support a text that, in our view, undermined the possibility for ensuring a result that delivers on the overarching goal that Iran must never acquire a nuclear weapon. Extending deadlines does not strengthen diplomacy. Delays do not encourage compromise. Denmark's strong belief in the power of diplomacy remains, also after the sanctions are reimposed. We sincerely hope that Iran will change its nuclear course and return to the negotiating table in good faith. I thank you.
I thank Representative of Denmark for their statement. Now I give the floor to Representative of United States.
Thank you, President. As we made clear last week, the United States supports the case France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, the E3, made for Iran's significant and continuing non-performance of its nuclear commitments. And we support the reimposition of pre-2015 UN sanctions on Iran in accordance with the process laid out in Resolution 2231. The reimposition of these measures, which will go into effect the evening of September 27th, is not arbitrary. Those measures are narrowly scoped to address the threat posed by Iran's nuclear, missile, and conventional arms programs and support for terrorism. And snapback of these measures does not preclude removal through diplomacy. But at this stage, there is no basis for changing course. Despite suggestions to the contrary, Iran has still failed to address E3 concerns regarding its highly enriched uranium stockpile, compliance with its IAEA obligations, and resumption of direct diplomacy with the United States. We are pleased that the Council rejected this last-ditch effort by the Russian Federation and China to call into question these facts and suggest that an extension would be warranted. The Russian Federation-China text is a hollow effort to relieve Iran of any accountability for its continued significant non-performance of its nuclear commitments, and all without requiring tangible diplomatic progress. If the Russian Federation and China want to help realize a durable, negotiated outcome on the Iranian nuclear issue, rather than seek to bolster an untenable status quo of flagrant Iranian efforts to undermine the global non-proliferation regime, then they must press leaders in Tehran to take meaningful, immediate steps to fulfill its commitments and obligations, including by fully cooperating with the IAEA. I thank you.
I thank the representative of the United States for the statement.